I'm Shane Compain and I'm super excited to share with you the story behind the making of the Panic Stations mullet. I've lived in the Territory my whole life, haven't been anywhere else. I'm not going to go anywhere else. I love this place, love the bits. Fishing is everything. It's my passion, it's what I do on my days off, it's what I do for work. Everything evolves around fishing. Started fishing tournaments about 20 years ago, obviously competing and just improving in my passion and trying to be the best angler I possibly can. That's what really drove me towards the tournament fishing, because it is probably the best way to improve yourself as an angler, because you're competing against the best. I've been lucky, I own a tackle shop, so I was always just striving to try and find that next best lure and have that edge over the anglers fishing tournaments. I had it in my head, I had this idea, I had the shape, I had the action, I had the concepts, the hook placement, the toe points. It was like a multi-piece gadget, There was so much going on. There was nothing on the market that matched that, so that's where this whole concept come from, to literally sit in the shed, get a piece of wood and start carving away. That's where it all started. I remember sitting at home with my partner, just sitting there watching YouTube videos on how to make soft plastics with plastisol and bending wire and how to make molds, so to create this idea that I had in my head. So with these sort of things, I get kicks out of working out myself and jumping on the net, and it's probably the harder way to do it, but I like the whole learning process of doing something new. I poured my first mold, so that was pretty exciting. Like, I actually, with the silicone, poured the first one, and I remember, pulling the mold apart and seeing the shape and this idea, starting to come alive. I couldn't believe how such a small change on the tail, the thickness of the tail or the head, every little piece would just change the action so dramatically. I think it took 4 molds before I had the correct action that I was chasing. I wanted something that was super natural, had a little side head knock, and I love that natural tail beat. That's what we call it, kind of a wedge tail, so it's from side to side, rather than a big body roll. So I was just going for that super natural appearance. So once I had the action, we then had to work on the internals, so the wiring and getting sinkers and crushing them, and just every gram, just weighing everything up. I was so happy once I got this action where that head just knocked from side to side, that tail kicked in the beat, and it looked like as close as I could resemble to a mullet swimming just under the surface. You can get that wake and bow wave over his head and just get it looking like the real thing. It took a long time, took 2 years of just trial and error. Got the shape, the action, got the internal kind of concept. I wanted multiple attachments for trebles, treble on the top, because if you're trolling and you want to grab the bottom slowly, or if you're casting and you want to work over top of trees or fallen logs, you need to take a treble from underneath and put it on top, so I added extra toe points on top. I needed a hook slot to put that in there as well. And I am colourblind, so the old spray painting part was pretty funny. I think nearly every lure I made was green. I thought I had like yellows and blues, and Mrs. would come in and she's like, they're all green. So I ended up contacting a fella called Marcus. He was a graphic 3D designer, and he actually lived in Germany. So I sent that to him, and then we had to work on the graphic designs of the lure. And over a couple months, I explained what I wanted, and we put a fish scale pattern on it, the gill lines, the grooves and the fins. I wanted this to look as real as you could possibly make a lure look. It took a bit, but the final part, it looks pretty cool. There's a thing now called Active Target. It's a sonar where you can actually watch your fish. So before it was a bit of a guessing game, but now you can physically, on a screen, watch how a fish reacts to your lure when you present it to it. And this just changed, didn't change everything, but just like it blows your mind, because you present a lure, one it past the fish's face, the fish completely ignores it. You do it again with a different lure, you might scare it, you just get so many different reactions. But when we had these lures, and the 8-inch, so the biggest one, my partner, she was using it, actually on the Daly River, persisting, trying to catch this large fish that kept, was behind a log, and he'd come out and then he'd go back in behind the log, and we kept casting different lures. Anyway, she ties on the big 8-inch, and bring the second cast, got the correct cast, come past the fish, and the different reaction in the fish from before, where they kind of follow it and then fade off. This fish, before you even knew that it was on the lure, you heard her squeal at the back of the boat, and this thing come out with a big bucket mouth.
That's it. Keep, remember what you got on, you gotta keep. Yeah! Get the mat. Look at that.
Oh my god.
There we go.
Oh my god.
8 inch.
Oh my god.
8 inch.
Oh, I'm shaking so badly.
Oh, look at that. Meter 12. Oh yeah, on the 8 inch.
That was the first fish ever caught on the 8 inch, which was, I think it was a meter 12, like massive fish. That was so cool because this is a homemade lure and you're seeing fish react this way to that lure. That's how you knew that we were on the right path, and that's what I was wanting to create. I wanted a lure that you could physically watch and experience, you know, these, what happens when you catch a fish of a lifetime.
Oh. Yeah, that was so good. God. I watched that happen. That was the best thing I've ever seen. What?
I'm super excited. I can't wait for that first customer come in the shop and say, hey dude, caught a good fish on your lure. Like that's just gonna put icing on the cake.